Hello, everybody out there in the universe. This is C Square from the Invisible Wires podcast. I'm proud to announce our first Invisible Wires podcast sponsor, and it's Justin Pizzulli, licensed realtor with the Real Estate Gallery in the states of Ohio and Kentucky. Justin has 10 years of experience. He has a 5-star rating on Zillow. I recently bought a home without a realtor, and boy, did it get hairy. But the seller and I had many awkward moments. Things got real foggy and confusing. They thought I said one thing, I thought I said another. I was handling things via email. It was with an elderly lady, and I didn't want to be mean, so it was very, I wish I would have had a realtor then. And buying through Justin Pizzulli, using him as the in-between, it's never been so easy. Another benefit of Justin is he's one good-looking dude. I mean, if you want a hot realtor, he's the guy to call. You don't want some ugly, smugly realtor. You want, someone represents you that is aesthetically pleasing. So now's the time to list, as homes are recently selling up to 10% more than market value. And Justin follows all the National Association of Realtors COVID safety precautions. He'll wear a mask. I've even seen him once. He was wearing a hazmat suit to show a house, and I mean, it just means Justin just goes the distance. So if you're looking for a domicile that you and your family can enjoy for years to come, and looking for a great buying or selling experience, call Justin Pizzulli at 740-464-7283. That's 740-464-7283. It is in the states of Ohio and Kentucky. You can go to the Real Estate Gallery website. It's realestategallery.biz. That's realestategallery.biz. Check out Justin on the website there. You can see a picture of him there. You can also contact him at thepizzulli@gmail.com. That's ThePizzulli@gmail.com. Again, Justin, thank you so much for sponsoring the podcast, and I now give you Invisible Wires.
Welcome, friends, colleagues, strangers, to Invisible Wires.
Straight up now, tell me, baby, are you gonna love me forever? oh. What is it, hit and run? Is that what he says?
Yeah. I think all I see is just your time signature lines are just
Yeah, we're good
really
now.
broad. So.
We're good now.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay.
Did we ever come up with a name for this?
We are in the middle of a name. We are. I'm between. I mean, this is a document. We're documenting the progress of this podcast. So I'm in between Invisible Wires,
Yeah.
and Tales from the Bunker.
Mm.
I like Invisible Wires due to its aesthetically, it would look cool.
Violating graves.
Yeah. Violating graves.
Very
is
clean look. Yeah.
What's violating graves?
Yeah.
We're a strictly black metal podcast. I thought Morbid Angel's third album was way more satanic than Corpse Hammer's.
Join us next week for Guar.
Yeah. I don't even know if Gwar really would be considered.
His use of 616 was more accurate biblically
Probably,
instead of 666.
Solve for X.
I love metal, but there's metal that is cheesy to me.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a popular opinion.
What's cheesy?
Well, I'll tell you what's cheesy. this is not a popular opinion, and when people not agree with me, but I think Metallica is cheesy. Personally,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Metallica is.
My own spell on that when Lars quit coming out with started recording the songs without the double bass, drums.
Yeah,
Then it was like they kind of popped out a little bit. Jason Newsted, though, for a while had their, they were tight as far as that stuff, and then he left, and it was kind of back to something that you would hear some guys create. On the
but
back
I
of
will
a bus,
say, I will say that Metallica is the origin of a lot of that stuff. It's fine. We're in an environment.
It's a Diet Pepsi, not a beer.
Yeah,
It's a Diet Pepsi.
to be clear.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, so we're a diet drink, guys. Don't worry. Gary's watching us sugar. But the thing about Metallica is they do have a cool part about them is that they had these tapes that went around. So it wasn't like their album came out and they got big. It was all about people would dub their tape and like, maybe you heard of Metallica tape. And it was like kind of like Dave Matthews in the 19 or late 90s. That's how Dave Matthews got in that mid 90s to up to 2000. Like that's how he got big.
Secondhand media, basically.
Yeah, like they had these mixtapes and Metallica was on. That's how metal got big back then. And so that's kind of cool. But for me, I don't know. I mean, it's okay, but it doesn't really get I don't think it's kind of cheesy to me. It's so corporate. Like if you have Lady Gaga singing with you at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you're losing it for me a little bit. But that's not the reason. It's just that they just seem kind of cheesy to me. I mean, it just...
It goes back to, was it a few weeks back when we were talking about how the last time a rock album of the year was YouTube and the Super Bowl halftime shows they're going after the demo, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so just music in general is kind of getting, sold out to, what seems like 13 and 15-year-olds. I'm just saying.
Well, that's just pop music. I mean, if you have Spotify, there's so much more music out there. I mean, there's so much more music out there. I mean, the best music is not winning the awards. The most promoted music is winning the awards. I mean, it's just straight up how it is. I mean, there's great bands out there that no one that aren't going to win the awards, and we talked about it. Those awards aren't voted on by people. Those are voted on by like the music producers and all that stuff. So
it's like roughly the movie industry is kind of the same way. That was Denzel's point. It's like the ones that catered to the Academy the most were like said, here we're going to bring you. They were telling him, so we're going to bring you in, and we're going to have you take a lot of pictures with these guys and all this stuff, and you're going to win the award. It was like, okay.
It's almost like people really don't see those movies that are on like the Oscars and stuff until the Oscars. It's almost like a commercial for the movies or something, I think.
Yeah, it's like...
Which is fine because there's a lot of good films. I mean, I'm a big movie fan, but...
Yeah. I mean, that'd be fun to do. What's the big one? Not the one in Colorado, but was it...
The Cans?
Yeah, in the Southwest or whatever it is.
Southwest is in Austin.
Yeah.
I have a story about that. I had this band called Crash Room, right? And we...
actually have this in my car now. By the way.
It's available. It's available on the internet. I think you can go on YouTube. Not internet now. Yeah. You can listen to the whole thing on YouTube. It's Crash Room. The Crash Room. I think if you look that up, you'll be fine. The Crash Room music, or I think you need to look up my friend's YouTube. I think it's Josh Iddings. If you look Josh Iddings up, you can listen to that, or I can give you a copy. Please send a stamped email.
Will you sign it?
P.O. Box
to the 2030
666
for a
Ashland,
friend?
Kentucky.
to 666 Satan's Crevice Lane. It's not, but it. So anyway, so we had this band, and it's a 3-piece band, and we get a call. Well, we had this one we at one point we had another record deal like from this place it's called Angry Sun Records, and then that fell through because our bass player quit and all this other stuff. And then we got this other place calling us, and I forget what it was called. There's actually a Rolling Stone article about this, but so they call us and they get a hold of us, and they're super enthusiastic, and they send us an email and all this stuff. And this is before the internet was really big. So they say, hey man, we're gonna, we think you guys are awesome, and we're gonna send you down to the South by Southwest, and
Wow.
we're gonna pay you this much money, and you're gonna
that's
get
awesome.
and you're gonna get on all. Yeah, it sounded awesome. And so you're gonna get on these stages, and you're gonna meet,
You only have to one-time payment of $4.99.
And so we had to pay $800
Jeez.
as I don't know, we were stupid Appalachian kids, So we paid $800, and we even kicked our drummer out and got another drummer because we just couldn't depend on him. And we're like, if we're gonna do this, we got a better drummer. I mean, no offense to if they listen to this, but we got a more reliable drummer. Let's just say a person who's going to be
Not
there.
better, but more reliable. Okay.
Well, that's
For that
that's
gig, yeah.
debatable, but
Okay.
he was better.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so we did all this stuff, and we got it, and then we never heard from him again. The number was a different number.
What?
We went on their website, and it was just like a stock picture.
Scam.
Total scam. So we got scammed at $800, and that was a lot of money. I was working at Journeys at the time.
Yeah.
That was like a whole paycheck for me, or maybe less. That was more than a whole paycheck for me. So I gotta say maybe a year later, there's this article in Rolling Stone about this company, and it was the same company, and they've been scamming people all across the country. And I'm gonna have to look it up. I might even be able to ask Josh what it was, but it was it killed the band, because it just brought us so high up and then so low, and then I mean, Josh got in a serious relationship and he ended up getting married, and there was a lot of different things that you're starting to grow up, and I don't know, just the band didn't. There's a lot of reasons, I won't go into it, but maybe I'll interview them one day on here, and I'm still friends with both of them, but I love those guys. But it was so. I mean, I felt so ripped off. It was so bad. So, but it's I don't know why I told that. Well, that was South by Southwest, but so I guess I didn't almost go there. I thought I almost went there. I guess is the point of that story. But anyway, back to metal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you ever heard of Brothers of Metal, the band? It's like Viking metal. Or
Yeah,
like
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Story. It's like ancient story metal, I guess. Something. That's what, when you said cheesy. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
That's
but I really like it. I'm getting into it. Like,
but I get into cheesy stuff, like the Darkness, the band, the Darkness.
One hit wonder.
Yeah, but they're awesome.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I mean,
to me though, his voice.
That's not really metal,
right? To me, they never took off with me, even though I kind of like the umbrella statement genre they were in, but it never took off with me because I thought his voice was just a gimmick. It wasn't. I mean, the band was tight enough, but I'm just saying for me myself. But go on with your story now that I've trashed it.
They're good. I mean, no, I get why you would say they're cheesy. Yes,
yeah,
but they're good to me. I don't know why. The musicianship's good. The songs are catchy, but it's not real metal to me. Metal to me is something that makes me a little angry. It's serious. It's not about. I guess I can't say. I wouldn't call it. Led Zeppelin's not metal. Led Zeppelin's rock and roll.
Yeah, rock. Yeah,
right. Black Sabbath is one of the first metal bands. Could we say that maybe?
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm sure there's people that may listen to this will be like, no, it was. The
Blue Oyster Cult, I think, was one of the first considered metal.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now
and
it's
today
like in
we
retro,
don't seem like it's very hard.
Well, in retro, a lot of folks are saying that Zeppelin was the first prog rock band. They're not calling them metal anymore. It's like
I would say they are,
because it's like they're the precursor to Tool, and then
very conceptual, and that's just where genre just kind of blurs the lines. Anyway, I mean, you can't call like Sturgill Simpson, like you can't call him really. You can call him country, but that's like actually probably real country, like old school outlaw country.
Some of it, and then he's just doing his own thing.
Then he's got the whole psychedelic,
meta modern sound and country music.
Yeah, he has that thing on Netflix. What's that thing on Netflix called? He has a movie and it's his whole album.
Yeah, it's all anime.
It's impressive. It's really good.
It's a rock album, not really a country.
Yeah, it's really, and they use like electronic instruments and everything in it. It's very. So I guess it's kind of to talk about the metal genre, maybe it's all kind of, it's too limited to say like, oh, this is metal, this is, I guess.
Yeah.
The only reason you need to communicate,
especially now, because where it can get out to everybody because of Spotify and YouTube and all that stuff, it can be really nuanced. So there are all these sub and micro genres to get it to your point.
Yeah, and there's people that listen to music, and there's people who really listen to music. There's people who are There's people like, and I know a lot of people that don't really, they just listen. That's a good song, whatever, But then there's people who are like really get into music, and I don't know, they just listen to it in a different way. I don't know. It's kind of really shallow to say, well, I listen to real music and you don't. You know, that's kind of an immature thing for me to say.
I mean, there's people that will defend Nickelback.
Yeah, that is true. And so what is that? They are hugely popular. I mean, they're rich as...
Can you really dog on them?
No, I mean, they're doing their thing. Now, if it was 25-year-old Chris sitting here, or whatever my name is, if I was 25 years old, then I would be like, that's stupid. If you like it, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Like
no street cred.
Yeah, I was like,
you.
Yeah, for me, I was too punk rock. It's too.
Well, there are like certain bands that attract a certain type of person.
So that's probably it. Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
But what you were talking about though, like the street cred thing,
like that,
I've seen it inside the genre though. That's like I used to live with some guys. We had a place up in that will remain nameless, but they had a punk band, and they would get they'd get studio time, so I go sit in with them. I wasn't really anything talent wise as far as what they were doing, but it was like there were certain bands and stuff that just did not fly with them and stuff in that genre. Local scene bands.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it was like almost like a, I don't want to say gang robbery because it wasn't violent or something like that, but it was just like there was like some petty differences or something like that because of artistic differences.
Right. Yeah, like when I was in the bands I was in, we would play with all kinds of bands. Like we would play with like really heavy, I would call them sludge bands. We would play with just punk rock bands, a lot of punk rock bands. Like I don't like fast punk. I don't like the Ramones. I don't like any kind of...
I love ska.
Yeah, I mean,
Streetlight Manifesto is like one of my favorite bands.
Ska's cool. I haven't heard Streetlight Manifesto.
Oh man, so good.
We would open up for a lot of ska bands too. Like we would play with a lot of that. That's kind of punk rock though.
Yeah,
ska
it's
is
kind of a morph of
Yeah,
I call stuff West Coast punk. Like Blink is to me is like a West Coast punk. And that I don't think anybody else really calls it West Coast punk, but to me it's kind of got.
Blink-182 is a different story. Like their first albums, of course, were straight up pop punk, and then you got into like their self-titled album, which was brilliant. And then this last album, if you've heard it, very good. I mean, and I don't know if their production went up or they talk less about, what is that one album?
Talk less about high school.
Yeah, it's more. But
which
they're
is
just
rollerblading.
Yeah. I keep cutting in here, but I hope it's all right. But to me that was the last Weezer album, like that.
Oh yeah.
Take it back to the Shack.
The last one.
Yeah, that or the last single that was getting a lot of airplays, something like Taking It Back to the Shack or something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, that sounds just like the old stuff. I mean, that took me back
like Pinkerton
to '94 or something like that. Just
yeah. Well, Weezer, the Blue Album, of course, is classic. I mean, that'd be classic rock to us.
Yeah.
The Pinkerton, their second album, that's just gold, man. I mean, it's so good. It's not. You should. I mean, you can't let kids listen to it. Like the kids. It's really good. I mean, he's a genius. Rivers Cuomo is a genius. But they to me, I've seen them in concert before. I saw them once with Tenacious D.
Awesome.
Oh, it was both of them were just two people on stage just killing it. Just two acoustic guitars. Then it was Jimmy Eat World,
yes,
who was great, and then Weezer, and it was so cool. The thing about Weezer though, they didn't have amps on the stage or anywhere. I was
about to say, to me, they're one of those bands that get away with not sounding like they had some corporate stamp put on them.
I think they probably have enough freedom that they don't need.
Yeah.
They don't have it. I'd say. I mean,
that's what. Yeah, it sounds free. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he can do whatever he wants, and I think where musicians can record their own stuff now. You spend if you got $5,000 to $10,000, you give me $5,000 to $10,000, I'll have a professional studio in here. I mean, $10,000 especially.
Do you take check? No,
yeah, yeah. Like we'll just get it. We could have it. But
let's make 2 studios.
Yeah, yeah. I just bust out that wall, and I'll have to move my washer and dryer, and we'll be. I'll just reroute. You can help me reroute that, can you?
Yeah, we can do that.
And it's I don't know. It's just interesting what people can do now. Like, of course, you have to have somebody who can engineer it and things like that. I mean, I can almost do that, but I don't know. I think bands have a lot more. It's easier to record stuff now, I think. So, I don't know where we're going with that, but, Weezer has changed over the years though. I mean, they kind of went 80s. They had this one song that's called Heart Song. Have you heard that song? He talks about all his favorite songs, and he says that the whole lyrics of the whole song is all his favorite songs. And he goes through Nirvana. And I mean, it's really cool. I wish we could play music on here. It would be.
There was a new
song.
edition song that did that with their own song titles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's like the last. It's like they have a TV show, and it's like the last show, the last show they're gonna have. What's it called? The season finale or the
series finale?
Series finale. Yeah. Thank you. And they'll have like they'll like throw back to all the old times. It's kind of like that. Huh.
One of the best things I think is Eurovision, but Americans don't like watch it or know what it is.
No, I don't know what that is at all.
Oh, it's like
I'm American. I don't know what that is,
all
man.
the
What
European countries get together and like it's like a soccer rally except for music. Like they have their own flags and they wave them and like cheer on their country and take like the best band in their country that year.
Is that why
showcase them?
Is that why every time you see a live performance of Muse, it's in this sold out huge soccer stadium somewhere? I mean, is that
probably?
I mean, that makes sense now. Yeah. I mean,
well, Muse is huge. I mean,
yeah. Oh, especially in Europe, it's like, golly, they're a monster.
Yeah.
So they have like
every European country has like it's like the Olympics except for with music.
Wow.
And there's judges, and I mean it's awesome. Like it's nothing like any of the.
It's like a battle of the bands.
It's like a battle of the bands for Europe. And
that should be our first remote live.
Yeah.
Yes, that sounds good to me.
It's freaking sweet.
Have you ever been to a show and it's like, I don't know, let's say there's 5 bands, and by the time you get to see your band, the band you like, the headliner, maybe you came to see one of the middle bands, but you get to the headliner and you're like, I cannot, like you're just burnt.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine going to Coachella or.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Rock on the Range a couple years ago. What I think they were already calling it Sonic by then, but
yeah, Sonic Ranch or something.
But after being out in the sun all day Friday, and I just woke up with all the pollen was blowing and stuff like that, and I had such a monster headache, and I was like, I'm not big on tonight's headliner, and we just crashed out at the hotel.
Who was it?
Went on Sunday. I think it was somebody I've seen before. I can't even remember who the headliner was. It was
Breaking Benjamin.
Lincoln Park.
Friday was perfect because that's when Maynard was doing Flying Both Flags on the same tour. So Friday would be
he was doing Perfect Circle.
And then Sunday was Tool. And
I think I like Perfect Circle better than Tool. I don't know. I know I know you're a big Tool. I mean,
no, I get it. I mean, there are a lot of songs.
I know you're a Tool, but
yeah, boy.
Sorry,
but
Gary, not a Tool. I like you a lot.
You familiar with the song Gravity? The Perfect
Gravity. Sorry, no.
But it's kind of like haunting, melodic, cerebral like that. That kind of.
I think I like the dynamics of Perfect Circle better.
But Billy Howardell is just, man, as far as a tech guy and guitars and stuff.
He was
like
9 Inch Nails, right?
Pumpkins. He's with the Pumpkins.
Oh, one of those guys was in 9 Inch Nails, right? Are we?
No, they hung out with.
I thought one of the guys in Perfect Circle was in 9 Inch Nails. Where's that Filter? I might be totally
could
wrong.
Be. I should know, especially if because I've talked to what's his name, Fitzpatrick, or Patrick or whatever, the lead singer for Filter. Shot the Breeze before.
Oh wow!
And I told you the story about talking to Billy Howard with my boy. And he's actually back in the, not to show how old I am, but here it goes. But back in the MySpace days, my former stepson kind of reached out to him said, "Hey, I got a setup question for you." And he's like, he responded back.
Oh, wow.
I said, "Shoot." And he's like, "What was your setup for this song?" And he rattled
Oh,
it
like
off.
the whole guitar setup?
Yeah, like what
wow.
equipment and stuff like that. And I thought, that because some of those guys are so non-approachable. And so like Maynard being one of them, and yet they're in the same band. And then like when I talked to Billy at in Cincinnati at Riverbend, and he just seemed like anybody, one of those guys that you ran into somewhere, and you're keyed in on something, and you end up, whatever.
They're probably like an interaction that's just normal. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're talking about gear, like, if you're like, "Hey man, what kind of, pedal were you using on that or something?"
Your eyes light up like a
register. I'll talk about that forever with somebody. I mean, that's probably what I would talk about. I don't care about anything. I mean, I don't want to know your social security number.
I mean, if it seems like that's his, wheelhouse question for him. I mean, he could wormhole on that, real easy.
Yeah, there's some, I don't know. I think that's the kind of thing you got to go with them.
Do we have this conversation about like metal? It seems like it's kind of dying in America, and you really like, if you're a band, you really need to like go to Europe. That's what I was trying to convince my friend's band Iron Gate to save up some money. And
I bet Iron Gate would be big. I was
like, go to Norway, save up a few $1,000s and do a tour in freaking Norway and Finland and Germany.
Yeah, they'd be big there.
Yeah, like you play around here, like you're not going to go anywhere. Like biker bars, you can't sustain yourself playing in biker bars. Like you're not going.
People
anywhere.
around
biker rallies, that's all they did.
People around here don't like metal's not going to be big. I mean, around here.
Yeah, it's not.
You got to be a cover band.
Anything screaming is not. I saw they invited into Frankenstein's in Portsmouth a scream band to open up for them, and everyone walked out. I'm like, dude, why did you do that? He's like, they're awesome. I was like, I know, this is one of the greatest bands I've ever seen in a small venue. Like, they were freaking awesome, but like, people don't want to listen to that here.
There's a certain crowd, like you have to have a punk rock hardcore crowd, like the old High Amp in Huntington type of crowd to get into that.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Like you can't around here. They don't understand. There's just not enough music venues to really get a niche
on
around
demand.
here.
It's just more like they want country.
Well, they want something they can go drink to and hang out.
Right.
And that's fine.
They want to hear Rolling Stones and Kid Rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kid Rock is. This is the demo for Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Because Kid Rock is country and rap. It's crap. It's coming together. And it's easy to listen to. And Kid Rock's not a great singer, so everybody, you kind of feel like you're Kid Rock. You sing along with it. Like it's not like. I mean, that's why Kid Rock's so. Of course, he's from Detroit, which is interesting, but he's such a kind of a redneck kind of personality.
Yeah.
That's what he's going for.
Super redneck, dude.
I guess you're right. I just don't think of Detroit as redneck. I just don't think of.
No, but if you're from Michigan and you wanted to make it big in business or in music, you go to Detroit.
You know what? You're right.
That's my thinking.
I didn't. Yeah, Michigan is way more rural than I give it credit.
I mean,
for.
Detroit's one of the biggest music scenes.
Yeah,
in America.
I was surprised they got the that weed bill for medical through because their state level house and stuff like that is way red. Leads way red.
Yeah,
I think weed's going to be a thing that's just money. It's a money. It's there's so much revenue you can get from that's why it's coming through. It's not coming through because of any other reason.
Right.
How can we tax it?
Yeah.
How can, and they're going to use reasons like it's good for people who have various ailments and all.
That.
Yeah. They don't really care about that.
But. It seems like every 20 years there's something like that comes up. They figure out a way to let it in just so they can tax it. Like casinos, before that, I mean, it was, you either went to Atlantic City or you went to Vegas.
Right.
And then all these places start opening up, table games all over the country. And now
those places,
Atlantic City is a ghost town. And
they're what?
They're struggling now. I get letters in the mail all the time from Caesar's Palace. They're like, we'll fly you for free out of Charleston Airport on our plane. And it's not a scam. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
To come to Atlantic City and we'll pay for the hotel too. Stay 3 nights.
Yeah.
I'm sure the pandemic really hurt them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to do that now.
Because the construction.
Yeah. You need to get on that. Yeah, you need to jump right on that.
Let's do it.
It's like some paper airplane you got to get on.
Yeah.
It's like some scary
Cessna.
plane. I've been on a Cessna, and it is, I think it was somewhat of a Cessna, but it's scary.
Top wing. Little.
I mean, I could touch the pilot, so I don't really, I could like, hey, dude, what time is it?
Yeah.
It was, and I had my cell phone, and my sister goes, turn that off, you're gonna crash the plane. I was like, if it's gonna crash that easily, we're gonna crash anyway. Does this cell phone really mess up a plane that bad that it will?
I think they've calmed down on that quite a bit, just like the ICUs and cell phones and stuff like that. They used to be a thing too. Don't bring that business in here.
Or the whole gas pump thing. You talk on your cell phone and you're on the gas pump. The gas pump will explode.
It was like, my grandpa smoked at the gas pump. He's like, I can't have it. And he was fine. I can't have a cell phone.
Unless you're like spraying gas in the air or something. Yeah. I think you're... Yeah, it's kind of amazing that there aren't more complete explosions at a gas station.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it kind of is surprising.
I think they have check valves in them to where, like, even if the stream lit, put it that way, that it would only burn back so far. So you couldn't get fire to the tanks unless something really, like, drone strike type material would happen to it.
Yeah. That's good to know.
No,
that was so specific. Like, are you plotting something?
Listen, I'm playing this out, and you really can't do it. There's a lot of
why a drone, Gary?
I mean,
he's the one talking about airplanes.
Yeah. The same thing with cars. Like, I know there's a lot of car accidents, but you think you'd see a car accident every 5 seconds? I guess maybe in LA you would. You see car accidents, but I mean. You think with the people that think about people in the world.
Yeah.
The people that you're like, how do they drive a car?
Right.
Like, how do they stay on the road?
How does the world actually function?
Like, think about all 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
I was with this 13-year-old kid. It was with a friend of mine's kid last night. We were eating at a Mexican restaurant, and this kid, for some reason, I started talking about video games and started talking about music and stuff, and he just really liked me. He was like wanting to talk to me, and he got some Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb in him, and he started getting real. And the whole time, he kept showing me his phone, like and showing me meme after meme, and these memes to me aren't funny. They're like, it's like everybody makes a meme, so they're trying to make they. Did
you have to give like a laugh,
gratuitous laugh.
Yes, courteous laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have to do that because you're a kid and I don't want to hurt your feelings.
I was like, yeah, that's like, but he kept showing like he's across the table from me. He's like, there's 20 of them. He's like, just kept showing me his phone over.
Thing now,
and I was like,
that's how everybody is.
Ho. And then some of them should have been ho. And so I don't know. Like it was so, I was so tired at the end. I was like, stop. I'm going to have like a shirt that says, stop showing me your phone.
I took a girl out on a date and she kept doing that to me. She was younger and I was like, yeah, this isn't going to work out.
But it's kind of what's funny.
So you went. Please keep that.
Yeah, we should go back to that. You're right.
You went out with listen, I have no. Like, I went out to younger.
She was of age.
So this 14-year-old that you took out. No, I'm just joking. We're gonna stop the podcast now. We're gonna call the police. No, I'm just joking.
Sponsored by Epstein Island.
So this girl was younger, and you're out to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And she just kept showing you memes over and over again?
Like, yeah, I mean, not just memes, but like, I went to her house and she was listening to like the world's worst rap music. Like just stuff, I guess just whatever kids are listening to these days.
Like mumble rap?
Like Post Malone stuff or whatever.
Right, okay.
But Post Malone is good though.
I think he's good. Yeah.
I'll go back on that.
I know what you're saying. Justice, like vocoder.
Yeah, some guy named like Big Baby or something like just really weird.
Everybody's big something, little or big.
Yeah, little big show.
Little
And-
little big show.
Little Bighorn was taken. So.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be a good rap.
Little
name.
Bighorn. It's an Indian rapper. Indian, Native American rapper.
Sorry.
But yeah, she just kept showing me memes and just
And so what did you do the gratuitous laugh?
Yeah, the
or
gratuitous
yeah, you're like
stuff or just
you're like,
conversations. Yeah.
So it's like the conversation is they can't just talk to you. They have to be like, look,
Yeah.
look. And it was just, and he's 13, but
We're regressing as a society. It's like
so what did you do
like
after
two
how
animals like banana. And we're like,
banana.
phone. Like
So what did you do? Like how long did that last? And
couple dates. I mean,
but on the date, how much percentage of the time was you looking at her phone?
the whole time.
Jesus, help us.
Yeah.
At what point did you?
I didn't even have my phone out. I just started like watching the
You should have just like
Total
collided
chemistry
your
kill.
phone with her phone. Oh, I was going to show you something. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You should just go like,
Cracker
Yeah,
screen.
right.
You know,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's
Oh,
too
God.
bad.
Did you interrupt my meme showing?
that is a weird.
I don't know, dude.
Like I had like on Reddit, I see memes. I had this one subreddit that was like memes, and I was like, okay, I'll check out memes. You know, you got to keep up to date with the latest memes. You got to understand what the kids are thinking.
Know where pop culture is.
And most of it is
Dude.
it's stupid. I mean, there's the good one. There's the Leonardo DiCaprio in
Oh yeah.
that's what's that movie? The Django.
The Django
Yeah.
Unchained.
The Django. Is it Django or
Django, I think.
Django.
Yeah.
Okay. The Django is funny though.
The Django.
That's funny. The Django, which is a great movie, but that's a good meme. That's funny. I mean, it can be
Yeah.
used over and over.
I like the stonks guy too. I like the stupid stuff.
like the thing with the dog, and it's getting hit in the head.
Oh, that's Doge or something, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh,
What's the
I don't know.
the two girls screaming and the white cat sitting behind them?
That's probably the most popular of all time.
Oh yeah, the angry cat.
I love when they got Bernie.
Oh yeah,
That was a
with
good
his
one.
hands
That was a
wrapped.
good one.
Yeah, had a good run.
I mean,
What gets me is like these folks that just start a Facebook account and
okay.
and I'm not going to name drop here, and so all these memes that we've been seeing for a decade, it's brand new to them, and so they're blowing up everybody's feed with stuff that's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, for the 1,000th time. Yeah,
Like when someone sends you a meme that you've already seen, like what do? You say like I saw that. Like is that jerky? Is that like wrong? Or you should
or
just
should
give
you
like
just
a
hit like
courtesy
and go on?
lol.
yeah.
Like what do you? Because I've been doing like oh yeah I saw that like a few weeks ago, and then like they get super pissed. I'm like oh maybe I should stop doing that.
What do you got? Yeah, like what do you do? Like I have.
I'm just an asshole. Like
There's two situations. You go, oh yeah, that's funny. I saw that.
Yeah, I've
Well,
done that before, but it's like, well, I keep chickens, and
yes, you keep chickens.
and so every time.
How are you going to bring chickens back to memes? I'm like really,
you'll get
I'm
it
on the
here in a
edge of
minute.
my
It
chair
follows
here.
up.
This is gonna be good.
So, like, have you seen those, like, where everybody takes pictures of, like, these little bicep arms, like He-Man arms that are on a wire that you can put on the back of a chicken so it looks like they're walking around, like, buffed out and stuff like that.
yeah.
And I must have had that sent to me by 3 different people, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in, like, a few chicken pages,
That was a
backyard
good video.
groups
You're
and
like,
stuff
I'm
like
up to date with the chicken memes, dude.
Yeah.
I got it.
man.
that. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's another thing. Like there's, I don't want to call it genre, but interest specific memes.
Yeah.
Like if you're into a video game, like I'm into that video game DayZ, and I'm on these sites, and it's just DayZ memes, and I'm like some of them are funny, but it's
Oh, yeah. Like, you watch Letterkenny, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know if you belong to any of those groups, but it's those are pretty good, But then they start to repeat. Somebody else
Right.
just starts watching the series, and then they start dropping all the memes that you're already familiar with. So it's like,
there's this guy, he does, it's called white people humor.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And he hates bikers. So he has all these memes about, he hates bikers and he hates Ohio. So he has all
No,
these.
that's the shithead Steve.
Oh, is that
guy,
Shithead
isn't it?
Steve?
Yeah, that hates Ohio. He hates cyclists.
Oh,
Yeah.
Then it's the white people humor is another guy. My bad.
White
okay.
people humor is a different one, maybe.
He's
Or
even-
maybe they're just both doing the same thing. I don't know.
No, it's Shithead Steve. You're right.
Yeah.
White people humor is pretty funny though too, but it's really like that's all he does. He did one. He said if something happened, like he got so many likes or something, he had to do a day where it was all Christian memes, and it was so good. And he pissed all the Christians because the rest of his site's just debaucherous. I mean, this is bad. So he did all Bible memes for a long time. It was really funny. But then some people just do that for a living. They just do memes all day. How do you get sponsored for doing memes? I mean,
I don't know if it's like something that gets shared so many times that it's monetized. Kind of like,
I don't know if you can monetize your.
How do you actually get your, like the shithead Steve guy? Okay, some random guy named Steve from Ohio. How did he ever get that page up to millions of? I guess at some point it just catches on. Like once you get to maybe like 50,000, I'm sure it's easier, to get bigger.
Well, because you exponentially have more. Like there's an algorithm with Instagram that shows you what you already have looked at and makes it so you will. But see, here's the thing about Instagram is that, because I know everything about Instagram. What am I talking about? What I'm saying is
you invented it.
I've got 143 followers, so watch out. Anyway, so maybe 215
or something. Supposed to be called Christagram, but
yeah, they changed it. But I randomly get some Syrian prince guy that I'm following. And
asking you if you want to buy into South by Southwest.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to go to South by Southwest.
Just keeps coming back around.
But it's like this prince, and he's got all these crazy, the Middle Eastern stuff. It's just, I'm not used to seeing this stuff, but they must wear that stuff all the time. But I didn't add him, but I'm following him. So I think I'm hacked, but I have so many people that I follow that I'd never pressed follow. Like,
right.
Same.
Probably,
yeah.
I probably have 2,500 people I follow, but I didn't follow any of them. So I think there's a way to pay. Like I'll have some middle-aged woman who's really trying to sell her handmade jewelry or something, or she's sponsored by some yoga pant company. I don't know, whatever.
Lululemon.
Yeah, and I follow her, and I'm like, I never followed Janice from wherever. I don't. I guess you can pay for that. I think there's a thing you can pay for, and it'll just
Janice.
That's a good one. Holistic. I bet that
that's
is
probably
one.
a real thing.
Yeah. And then there's the people that all they do is show you that they're working out all the time.
Oh man,
that's one of my biggest pet peeves since I got into fitness was how you have all of these people on Instagram selling you all of these supplements, and it's been going on for years. It's been going on since probably the 80s or so, or before that even. But they are literally on growth hormones. Yeah. And then they're trying to tell you can look like this if you do this, and this exercise. It's like, no, like I can probably do more sit-ups than the influencer guy can. Yeah. But I still have a beer belly. Like, you're not going to get like that unless you're taking a variety of drugs.
If you're huge and cut, you're either eating perfect and lifting
It doesn't even have to do with that, dude. I've done that. I did that for a while. I ate that perfect lifestyle.
How many calories were you eating?
I was eating 500 less caloric intakes and
that's
whole
the thing.
foods.
If you're really big, you eat like 4,000, 5,000 calories a day. If you're really big, like huge, you have to eat a lot.
But it will get turned into fat.
Not if you lift a whole, like heavy, and you really go for it. Because I used to be 250. Okay, I used to be like 250, and I was huge.
Yeah.
Like I was 5'9", 250.
Yeah.
And I ate a lot, and I had to lift like heavy. I was shoulder pressing 70s. You know what I mean? Like crazy stuff.
But you were actually cut. You were just like, I've lifted, my arms just get fatter. Like I've lifted heavy and my arms just get fatter. Like,
but sometimes you see those people. I was a little bit cut at one point. I ate a lot of sugar too. I was also probably drinking a lot then, so it didn't really help. Well, but to get big, you got to eat a lot. Like to build muscle, you got to eat a lot. Mm-hmm. That's what people don't realize. Like eating 2,500 calories a day may not do it. It may not make you really big and grow muscle.
Not eating that much. I'm always on a strict diet. and for the most part, and I'm just like normal when I'm exercising and I'm on a strict diet. I just look normal.
Like if you do sets, how many sets are you doing like of arms? Like let's say you're doing triceps.
I mean, I tried different things. Like I tried like 4 sets of 4, like as heavy as I could go, something like that. I tried that for a while. Then there's like the Les Mills style, which is just super low weight and tons of reps.
Yeah.
And then I just, honestly, you don't have to, and what they don't talk about too is how bad all this lifting is on your body. You're going to tear up your shoulder. You're going to tear up your legs.
Yeah.
You're going to tear something up. Like your joints only get so many movements.
If you don't do it in an even, you don't like do as many pull exercises you do push. You're like if you there's video of me when I was lifting, and I was trying to get a big chest, and
you like big chests.
I was trying not really hard, and but I didn't do the equal back of it. So I was like bent over like Hunchback of Notre Dame. I have video of me I'm preaching school, and I look at the video and I'm like, I look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame because I was so pulled forward by doing all that chest that it messed me up.
The variety of like agility, strength, like agility and cardio are just all like the Tom Brady method. There's a reason why he is as old as he is and he's still playing football.
Yeah.
Because all the other guys that are lifting heavy are getting injured and they have to retire. Yeah. And he does body weight and he does bands and just stuff like that. And it's more sustainable on your body.
There's aesthetic fitness, which is like bodybuilders and all that jazz. And then there's athletic fitness, which is being able to be agile, being able to be flexible. And we know more about that. And I was talking about this the other day about why basketball is like the basketball players now are, substantially there's more athletic players. They just are. Look at LeBron James. Look at him compared to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan wasn't big. He was just an agile guy who had the skill. Of course, he did weightlifting. I think in that documentary they talked about they started lifting after they lost the Pistons and all that. Remember that? But LeBron James, though, he probably has a guy that's like specifically for basketball. How can we keep your knees in shape? How can we keep your hips in shape? Your ankles? And they're doing the movements are different. The core, they're probably doing more core. Their diet's different. They're keeping their inflammation down. There's better science. They can get hyperbaric chambers. They can,
have full-time chefs that prep their meal. Like I remember, and this was back in the day, back when they weren't making quite as much, but we're still doing it. Jamal Mashburn for the the old Cats player. He's old at this point, but
was he? He was with the UK, wasn't he?
Yeah. And but like when he went to, I think he went to Charlotte for a while, and
the Raptors, is that the team?
It was the Hornets back then.
Oh, it's the Hornets. Who's the Raptors? That's Toronto, like in Canada,
Toronto,
isn't it? Sorry.
Raptors, isn't it?
But I was wherever he went. It seemed like it was after, it was way after Dallas anyway, and he. That was back when NBA Jams was like a Saturday morning, almost like a cartoon, but it was a Saturday morning show, and they kind of picked the players' brains a little bit, and they were showing like a day in the life type of thing, and he had his chef there and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you have somebody making food for you, and you have the specific
personal trainer,
like I've been looking into getting a personal trainer.
Honestly, yeah.
I've been seriously, and not because I don't know what to do. I know how to work out. I've worked out a long time. I know that lifting heavy is bad. I've done it. I've lifted way too heavy. But just to get some person in there to say, do this, this, and this, just to kind of get me going. We've had all these injuries. And I think, but I'm like, gosh, it'd be just as much as I'm going to spend on health bills. If I don't, I still work out. I worked out today, but I don't know, like just kind of getting me going, like a jump start, like starting a lawnmower or something. Just getting, and really having a workout buddy helps too. Usually, having somebody you work out with. But
I've heard that crosses over. Like, take golf for example. It's like I've heard guys say that Tiger Woods was apt to start falling apart because his swing was like $127.
Yeah,
miles per hour off the tee and stuff like that. He said, watch how this guy swings. He said he's not going to be able to do that forever. He said he's going to be, a bunch of broke bones by the time he gets to the senior tour. And it's
think how much you're golfing. How much golf do you have to play to get really hurt? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of golf.
Well, he won the Masters on a broken leg.
Jeez.
Did you see that Tiger documentary?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's so good. You ought to watch
Wow.
it. His dad trained him in psych ops. He was a Green Beret, and he trained him how to hypnotize himself during games. That's why he couldn't be distracted.
Wow. You know, the same thing with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, whatever what was his coach's name? I want to say Lou, but that's every boxing coach's name.
Yeah. Mick.
Mick or Lou is every boxing coach's name.
Oh, man. I can see the guy's face, man.
Just chase the chicken.
Mick, Lou, something.
It was kind of a
We're not going to
like a noun nickname, like if I remember right.
Like a noun?
Yeah, it was like a
like
you know, not hacksaw, not something that obvious, but
let's say it was Lou Hacksaw.
Yeah,
anyway,
okay.
so
Old Lou Hacksaw.
but he would hypnotize him for fights, and he would go into this animal mode, you know. And I mean, he talked about it on
Rogan. Yeah.
How many times are we going to reference Rogan on this?
Yeah.
I mean, he's. I mean, one of the reasons that podcasting is big. I mean, let's get real. I mean,
Yeah.
That's what I was going to tell you. The video I saw this week was like a woman giving other girls advice.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like red flags. Number 1, he listens to Joe Rogan. Number 2, he has his own podcast. Here we are.
Crap.
Ladies, stay away.
I heard something that said that, you know, women. I think I'm getting it from your phone or something. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Maybe go airplane mode. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Women start OnlyFans and men start podcasts or something.
Accurate.
I mean, that's
Customato.
Customato. That's a noun.
Yeah, cuss. Well, that's more of a verb, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean I think the hypnotism thing's interesting. Have you guys ever been hypnotized before?
No.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if I have either. I don't think.
I'd be afraid of it,
I'm
honestly.
gonna shut that. I'm going to do a hard shutdown because I still hear something.
People do that for quitting smoking.
Yeah, my friend Brandon did that. I think I might have him on the podcast one time. He's an interesting cat. He stopped smoking for like a year. I think he might still stop smoking. I think, but he said it really worked.
Those shows like in Gatlinburg, they'll hypnotize you and
Yeah.
you know, walk around like a chicken or whatever. That kind
There's
of stuff.
some that get racy, like they'll make you real sexual or something. You know, they'll embarrass you and stuff. There's comedians that do that too.
I don't know how I feel about that stuff. That would probably be okay, but I wouldn't go to like a palm reader or psychic. I feel like that's messing with some dark stuff.
I think it's just a sham. I mean,
I don't
you know, you can
man.
assume that they might be just really intuitive. Like,
Could be.
like they, you know, there's just certain things about you that, okay, this person looks married. This person, you know, I don't know if they screen you at all at the beginning.
I watched a show on a cruise ship one time where they were doing that, and it was just like who's willing to try it, you know, and it'd be like, we'll say 20 people, and they'd start going through some initial exercises. Everybody, now just, you know, and they'd count it down, and so everybody, now raise your left hand, and you know, people would look up and they'd say no, and then they'd motion them down like it wasn't going to work on them. You know, so there was like a little on the fly screening.
Work for it, yeah.
Some people are really suggestive, I guess.
I feel like it wouldn't work on me. I'm too much of an ass or something. But I saw a video of my friend in Gatlinburg, and I mean, he was like using his shoe as a phone. He's like, I don't remember. He was like, I was dizzy the rest of the night and couldn't sleep and all kinds of stuff. So I don't know.
I mean, if it would help me, I'd do it. I guess. I mean, I don't know. We're not in a really high area for legit hypnotists.
Yeah.
You know,
Ashland, Kentucky.
yeah. There's no. There are card readers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's card readers. I know there's like they have a. There is one in Ashland, I think.
Isn't
Yeah,
that,
I think so.
I was thinking there was one in Flatwoods.
Yeah, the girls I work with went to them
Oof.
and
Or no, yeah, out towards Summit.
mm-hmm. How do you sustain that business?
I mean, there's low overhead.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's by appointment, so it's like you wouldn't be running.
It's a cottage industry.
Yeah. You need a cottage, definitely. You have to have a little, neon light.
Yeah, you gotta have one of those.
Yeah, you gotta have one
psychic.
of those.
There's
flashing.
Yeah, that has to happen.
That has to.
It's not legit otherwise.
Where was we? It was either
Crystal
Daytona
Ball.
or Orlando. They had like a drive-through psychic.
Drive-through.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'll take a brainwash combo. And, I don't know, with some fries. No, it was just a.
What about this? What about your sign, like your Pisces, Scorpio? Like what's your sign? What's your sign, Gary?
I guess, according to the astrological calendar, I would be a Virgo, according to that.
Okay, so what is that supposed to say about you? I don't know.
I'm supposed to be like a loyal friend or something like that.
That's what it says.
A decent guy. Or, I mean, that's what I've gleaned from it. But I've seen the experiments on that stuff too, where you could hand out and say, "Okay, when were you born?" And like they would do this like in a college classroom, and they'd say, "Okay, this is you," and they were all getting the same piece of paper that said, "These are your characteristics."
Oh,
and
the people identified it, regardless.
And they were like, "Yeah, that." I said, "Was yours accurate to you?" And most of them were like, "Yeah, that's me."
Because it's usually not negative things or something that you would already attribute to that. I'd want that to be me. What is yours? What's yours? What's yours?
Cancer.
The crab.
That's a real thing.
I know.
Yeah.
But just the way you said it is funny.
Cancer.
Cancer.
I don't know. There's a lot of women out there that swear by it, but I just saw something this week.
That swear by the astrological
swear by
signs. Yeah.
I'll try to look it up. It was how you are. Let's see, how you act when you drink, according to your sign.
Oh, really?
And it was super accurate. Yeah.
Huh.
I'm trying to find that, but
yeah, find that.
Some of that stuff, makes you wonder. But
I've heard some of them say like you could see it in your pets and stuff too. It's like back in the listening to Art Bell, 25 years ago, on the way home from work, and it was like, yeah, your pets can do that too. And it was like they would say, now if you were born like at the end of one and the beginning of the other, like on one of the crossover days, what it's like the 8th or the 22nd or something each month, usually something like that. And it was like you could pull from both and all that stuff. And I was like, I don't know about this, man. I never did follow it too much.
What's your sign, Chris?
Well, let's go into Cancer. Cancer is a cardinal water sign represented by the crab. This crustacean seamlessly weaves between the sea and shore, representing Cancer's ability to exist in both emotional and material realms. So that's good. I'm glad you exist in both the emotional and material realm. Good job.
That's a good feeling.
Cancers. I don't know why Cancer's funny to me. Are highly intuitive, and their psychic abilities manifest in tangible spaces. For instance, Cancers can effortlessly pick up energies in a room. Huh. Can you pick up energies in a room?
That's how I think so.
What's my aura, old buddy?
Just vibing, just chilling.
Word.
What's yours is what, Vertigo?
Mm-hmm.
Vertigo.
Yeah.
Villadigo.
What does Vertigo say?
Virgo is an earth sign. So we've got water and earth so far. Mm-hmm. Historically represented by the goddess of wheat and agriculture. An association that speaks to Virgo's deep-rooted presence in the material world.
Loves drinking Diet Pepsi.
Loves saccharin. Or hence Splenda. Virgos are logical, practical, and systematic in their approach to life. This earth sign is a perfectionist at heart and isn't afraid to improve skills through diligent and consistent practice.
Sounds accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not the case for me. There's some of these things I'm like, no, this is not the case for me.
I'm Pisces.
One way I could see that, because it's like they say there's two types of, let's say like in baseball, two types of pitchers, unless you're Greg Maddux. But they say, you're either a scientist or you're an artist.
Mm-hmm. And
it was like the ones that just get up there and fling the ball and they feel through hitting their spots. Those were the artists. And the scientists were ones that would, live and die by the hit zone reports and stuff like that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are two types of. I mean, that is kind of the two types of people. The problem is when you think you're one but you're the other. That's definitely.
There was speaking of memes and astrology, there was one I saw. I don't remember it exactly what it said, but it was bitches out here, like
is this bitches out here?
Yeah, it was like bitches out here, trying to disprove God or something, but they want to know your astrology sign.
Yeah.
Bitches be trying to do that.
What's the name of the psychics that like you're supposed to go in there with some sort of metal object, like a thimble or a spoon or something like that? And there is a term for that when
an item that is yours has energy or something.
Yeah, it's like they pick up the energy off of that.
I have no idea what that's called.
There's this dude. Believe it or not, when I was walking around Israel, there's this world famous guy that supposedly bends spoons with his mind, like in
Matrix or something.
And he actually did it. Like, we watched it, and then he was inspired by the movie The Men That Stare at Goats.
Really?
Yeah. It was so weird.
So he looked at the spoon, and you were there.
He would like hold the spoon and just like look at it, and he would get it to bend. Yeah.
Jeez.
He was supposedly studied by the CIA, and they confirmed that he was legit.
Yeah.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That dude needs a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, just to indulge myself, I'll read my own sign here.
Yeah. Please. Indulge us.
I'm also a water sign.
Okay.
By the way,
do waters get together? Well,
I don't know. That's a whole nother website.
Podcasts.
Pisces, a water sign, is the last constellation of the zodiac. It's symbolized by two fish swimming in opposite directions, representing the constant division of Pisces' attention between fantasy and reality. As the final sign, Pisces has absorbed every lesson, the joys and the pain, the hopes and the fears learned by all other signs. Okay.
Sounds accurate.
Yeah, I think for sure. Like they also said that I've read a lot that says that Pisces is sensitive and artistic and that kind of thing. But I wonder if when we read that, I'm sensitive and artistic. I want to be that.
I wouldn't say that about me though. I would call you artistic. I don't know about sensitive. I think you're sensitive to other people's feelings, but I don't think you're a sensitive like person individually.
To about myself?
Yeah.
No. I mean,
I think you're sensitive about others.
Yeah.
We can hug it out if you want.
Group hug.
I mean, when I was younger, I was super sensitive, but I think I've been made fun of so much that I realized after a long time, I was picked on a lot in like middle school and high school, like up to like freshman year. And I realized if I let me reacting to that, let them win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I had this one bully, his name was Joey something, I forget his name.
Joey Tomatoes.
Joey Tomatoes. And he anyway, he would pick on me in class. He would pinch me really hard, like really pinch me, do all kinds of stuff to me in class. And one day I was like, gosh, he's doing this every day. And I couldn't get the teacher to do anything about it. I was like, it was awful. So one day I just started laughing at him hysterically when he did it. Like I just started like, and eventually he just stopped because I guess he saw that it didn't bother me. And it was a big lesson for me,
That's true. I did the same thing. I was the fat kid in school. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know.
If you're always a part of the joke, like you're like, hey, fat ass. It was like, I know, man. My mom is so fat. She's, her belt is the equator, or like whatever, just like go along with it.
Yeah.
And you become the joke and they stop making fun of you because you're part of the joke.
Yeah.
You just run with and start self-deprecating. I
think that develops.
If your put down yourself game is better than their joke game to begin with,
right?
Then it's like
you make a joke better than they did.
It's the whole 8 Mile. How he wins at the end. The movie 8 Mile, where he like the guy they're going to do that rap battle, and he just says everything bad about himself before he does the rap battle. So the other guy couldn't say anything to him.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I think that's and you got to be able to. joke about yourself. You know what I mean? You got to.
I got to tell myself here. When you said 8 Mile, I was thinking Green Mile, and I was like, I don't remember.
You were looking at me.
Mile.
You were,
I was
me like,
totally
what the hell are
puzzled
you
there for a
talking
second.
about?
I was like,
Looking at me like
it was between the black guy and the mouse.
I'm tired, boss.
That's a great movie.
And I was like,
Dead.
I do that all the time. I hear stuff sideways.
Mouse in Green Mile is now known as Dead Mouse.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh.
Wow, that was a bad joke.
That was bad.
It was terrible.
I mean, whatever. I mean, I think it's. I'm still laughing at it. What's that joke you told last time?
Oh, God.
He told this joke last time we were here, and it was the listeners will remember that.
It sounds like I just made it up on the spot.
He said, "Here's the joke. Let's see if I can remember it." He said, "There's this guy, and he has a dog in the cart. And they were in a convertible together, and all of a sudden, they went under an underpass, and the dog's head got knocked off. Got chopped off, and I don't even remember the rest of the joke. But what was the rest of the joke?
It was the guy brought the coon dog's head into the hospital and said, "Can you sew it back on?" And he said, "Yeah, if he hadn't smothered that plastic bag you put him in."
And we were like, "What?"
It was so stupid.
And how tall is this dog? That its head got knocked off in a convertible. Anyway.
It didn't make any sense.
Well, that's her.
I don't know where I heard
You told it with such confidence.
Did I? No, I did not.
I thought you did.
No.
Oh, it's funny. Oh, good.
Sometimes it's all about the delivery.
It was.
I have terrible delivery. That's my thing.
I mean, a joke is hard to tell when when you're telling it and you already know it. I don't know. It's I don't know, like an actual
been a joke teller.
I mean, either. I'm more like I talk about. If I'm trying to be funny, I'll tell something that happened to me. Like
Right.
in like the other day, I have kind of one that happened to me. I had my pool worked on the other day. So I told my wife, I said, I'm going to work in the pool and be a man. I'm going to work in the pool. I'm going to open it, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And so she didn't trust me. So she hired a guy. She said, I said, "Why'd you hire a guy?" She goes, "It's only gonna be $175." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." So I had this guy come over. I want to shout out to Paradise Pools. They're super great. And the guy comes out, and it's this guy named Chris. And Chris kept asking me my name over and over again. And I kept telling him, "My name's, Chris." And he couldn't remember my name. So he's one of those guys and he's from like Raceland, Kentucky, and he had another guy with him. I think his name was John, and I had a really in-depth conversation with John about pizza places. Like it was like we were talking about pizza places, like little, Papa John's and pizza, but it was like we were talking about deep philosophy. Like, man, I really like Domino's. They've really done some great work, and and the last little bit, like I was sitting on my steps out there, and I was like, I'm having a deep conversation about pizza with this guy. So anyway, Chris is there, and he's telling me like you got to pull the skimmer flange and do all this stuff, and he's telling me all the steps, but he's telling me out of order. And so I'm like, I'm not gonna remember this, I'm just gonna destroy this pool and all this stuff. And he's like, you got to clean the waste, and you got to. I mean, there's all these valves, and it's pretty crazy. And so he's telling me this stuff, but he's one of those guys that is like, do you know Jimmy John Simpkins? And I'm like, I was like, I think I've heard of him. He's got that house on Peach Street, down on Becker Street down there.
Relay to Beatbox Becky. Everybody knows.
Yeah. Jim Wilkinson, or whatever. And
that's it. Like, what's your name? Justin Pizzuli.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I'm trying to sound. Do you know Tim Jenkins?
Yeah, yeah.
It was like, no, man.
And he asked me like 20 names
because
because I said I was from Russell and he's from Raceland. They're next to each other. And he must have asked me 20 people. And I just after a while I was like, yeah, I've heard of him. I heard of him. Yeah.
Phoning it in, huh?
What did that have to do with anything that we just talked about? Like
nothing. But he kept doing that over and over again. And I was just like, is he just one of those? I don't know if that's an Appalachia thing. Do you know?
It is. You're trying to. I think it's just rooted in you're trying to find like a personal connection with someone.
Yeah, he was.
And you do it with like knowing mutual people.
Yeah, and I mean, he was totally nice, and he's a great guy, and he was just totally helpful and everything. But that's a common thing that I find when I meet people around
Jimmy
here.
Johnson.
you know,
Bartle do.
Yeah, do you know Bartle do? That's a throwback. But I don't know. It was a funny little anecdote from my life. I was just like, I don't know. It's just, I think it's funny when people. I think that's definitely a local thing. People, I don't know that people do.
I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to think. I've been other places, and I feel like people just do that universally.
Yeah. If you're, it's hard to say other places because you're not, unless you've lived there before. I guess I don't know.
It's like that.
They're looking for a connection. I think
not
you're right,
in
though.
a big city like
yeah.
in New York. Like the chances that you're going to know the same person.
That's-
But if you lived on the same neighborhood street,
Maybe.
I think people would do that.
If you live near that street,
Yeah.
possibly.
It was like the Whites, West Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
and like the mom or whatever. I only watched it once, and it was
Sue
like,
Bob.
yeah. And they're
Bobby
going through a
Sue Bob?
drive-through somewhere like McDonald's
She
or
was the
something.
pretty
like that.
one.
Yeah. And she's yelling back at somebody. Oh yeah, we got. Well, blah blah blah. She lost custody, so we're going to drug court today. So no, let's just telling all this,
Yeah.
all these
Yeah.
TMI details.
CPS got her baby.
Yeah.
Hey, Amy, or something. What's yelling at her through the.
Have you seen the original of that? There's an
Oh.
original half-an-hour documentary that was on PBS.
Sloppy salami eggs.
Yeah,
That one.
and it was. They didn't intend it to be funny,
Yeah.
but Jessica White just, and we and my one of the bands I was in, we used to watch that like every day, and we would quote it all the time.
So good.
And we ended up starting a side band, like we would that was called Pawnee's Camper, because that's one of the because he forgot his sunglasses. I think it was a Pawnee's Camper or something like that. And so we had this little punk band, and we was all themed of those kind of songs. But the original one's the best because it's not, there's the second one or maybe the third one. He goes on Roseanne. Did you guys see that one?
No.
Jessica White goes on Roseanne. This is a real thing that I'm talking about. This has really happened. You can look it up. He goes on Roseanne, and Roseanne had converted to Judaism. Here we get back to Judaism every single time. And he had a swastika. Is that how you say it? Yeah, on it, a tattoo on his hand. So, of course, Roseanne's mad about that. And Roseanne, before he goes on the show, makes him go get a rose tattoo over the swastika on his hand, and still let him on the show. I don't know why he was on the show.
Oh, wow.
The only extent I kept up with him is because he did the voiceover for Gaga P-Pop on Squidbillies. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this
He had a
artist.
cameo on Grand Theft Auto 5, too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Where at? What part of it?
He has there's a character, and they made him in video game shape, and he tap dances.
No way.
Yeah, and he's on
I have that game. I just
and
never
he's
got
on
to that part.
Rebel Country, the station. He does the DJing a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I'm surprised he's still alive because he used to go on
Oh, I
tour.
know, it's a miracle.
He used to go on tour and he would go. We'll do air quotes dance, and he would,
Yeah.
and
He's so talented. I mean that. I think
is
so.
it Jessica White.
Yeah, man. I mean to do that dancing.
National treasure.
I mean,
That's like a lost art. Like
I'm sorry,
that's
I
what
couldn't
that used
I
to
guess
be.
I
together.
haven't seen his dancing.
Tap dancing, dude.
So
I
it's
mean,
Appalachian tap dancing.
Yeah, I mean he's the best.
I'm
His
gonna have
dad
to-
was the best there ever was. Like tap dancing used to be like a big thing. Like
Yeah,
and
Sammy
his
Davis Jr.
dad was
and all
the
those
best
guys.
tap dancer ever, and he learned everything from his dad.
I'm sorry, I disrespected his tap dancing.
Yeah,
I
dude.
apologize.
Seriously.
I seriously apologize.
Don't you ever disrespect.
Jessica White ever again.
Here, I thought you were going on a tangent just to see how long you could keep that going without cracking. Because I thought you were
He's
completely
legit-
full of
he's
shit. from the
serious.
get-go.
You didn't know that he was a tap dancer?
Well,
I knew
I've
that.
seen him
What the
tap
hell?
dance, but I didn't know it was supposed to be legit.
I mean, his
To
dad
me,
was the best.
oh,
That
To
doesn't
me,
mean
it
he's
looked
the
like
best.
drunken river dancing. I'm sorry, but
No, it's
Okay.
legit, dude.
I mean, maybe
Maybe-
it was the top of that picnic table.
You
that
have
threw
such
me
a
off.
high standard for tap dancing, so I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I mean, he
what,
wasn't his
Sammy
dad,
Davis and
but-
Gregory.
No, he
Hines,
wasn't
and
his
that's it.
dad.
You know, it's like
Yeah, there was the joke on there that he huffed so much gas he could tell the difference between unleaded and premium.
I mean, the
nice.
guy's made a career out of it. I mean, he's still
Yeah.
alive. I mean, It's just interesting.
Every time I go to Taco Bell, I go, y'all got Fiestas at the drive-thru. So good.
Oh, that's funny.
You got to kill that cow to get that beef, buddy. That's what
Gosh, that just makes me think of Squidbillies. I love that show.
I never really watched that show.
I haven't seen that.
It's the guy that he comes to, or at least he was coming to Huntington back in the day. He's pretty decent on guitar. The unknown Henson, the guy that does the voice of Early.
Yeah, I know and who Henson is. Yeah.
He's like, he comes up there.
He got canceled recently. He got canceled big time recently. Unknown Henson did.
Is that right?
Yeah, like
what is that band?
No, he's a guy, and he's like
Unknown Henson.
Unknown Henson's his name, and he's like, I want to say a perverted Elvis / Johnny Cash impersonator type of thing. I wouldn't say it's like that.
I think where he started to get some airtime, it was like this deal down, I want to say Atlanta, where it was like who was the Mr. Elvira, but it was somebody else, and he was kind of like the side guy that had this kind of weird look with the widow's peak hair and stuff like that, and played guitar in between, just kind of like a setup man for her, but she would be doing the commercial break setups for the continuation of these horror movies on the weekends,
right.
And I think that's where he kind of came about.
And the songs are real raunchy, like, and probably. And he's kind of racist. I don't know if it's in his songs, but that's where he got in trouble. Is he said some stuff, and he got like all his shows got canceled. This is like the last year it happened.
I can see that too, because like they had David Allen Coe was on that show, the Squidbillies.
Yeah. So you're saying Squidbillies is racist? What are you trying to say?
I could, that's kind of implied in some of the stuff, but it was making light of the ignorance of racism.
Oh, okay, that's good. We definitely want to.
Yeah.
Ironic thing to do. Yeah, but I know Henson's. It was big. I don't know. I remember that he got real big, but I never really got into it. It's a shtick, of this misogynistic guy.
I can talk like him a little bit. I can get my.
Do you have it?
My brother going down. Well, he was like,
"Oh, you mean that other TV lucky box?"
Yeah,
that's exactly like what he sounds like.
Oh no, we ain't gonna pay no tax.
But anyway,
that's exactly like Unknown Henson. Jeez, Unknown Henson.
There's you ever see the Bobo the Clown guy? He just goes around and he'll go around and just insult people.
Yeah. I'm like, gonna say something. Doesn't he like?
Yeah.
I
forget.
Flings a microphone at him.
Flings a microphone at him and insults them and like gets their reaction. And he's like always drunk or something like that. His whole. He's like the drunk.
Is that old or is that new or old?
Like, it's been around a little bit. I think 2006 was the first I heard of it. It was a buddy I went to restaurant school with.
So he's not around anymore.
Probably there's so much crap out there. He's probably not relevant anymore. I would say. But.
Yeah, there's. I mean, if you look at where we are with entertainment, you can watch movies till you're dead. Like I could start watching movies right now, and never finish them.
Yeah.
I think it's the greatest time for comedy.
Oh yes,
TikTok, and there's like so many specific kinds of humor. Like sometimes I'll see something and like this isn't funny at all, and sometimes it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Just everybody has.
Comedy as in things that are funny.
Everybody has such a specific version of comedy now.
Yeah. See, there's stand-up comedians, which stand-up comedians put themselves on a pedestal a little bit. Like, it is hard, and you have to spend a long time doing it to get big. But a lot of times I don't know. I mean, I'm not a comedian. I don't do it, but I'm sure it's hard. But getting in front of people, I guess, is hard.
Yeah.
And being funny and keep people's attention is hard.
That's where, and you go to different parts of the country and do the same material, and it's going to bomb here. Whereas if the right guy's in the audience here, it's going to get you a deal,
Mm-hmm.
And just, it's a weird dynamic to think of making a living that way.
Yeah. I mean, there's there's the planning it out, like the planning it out and planning out your material. Like, and it's the only real, like bands don't go out and try material out. Like a band goes out, plays the song they've already worked out.
Right.
A comedian usually has a little bit of material. Some of them write it all out. Some of them have subject matter, and they'll just go out and try it out. And they'll just try it out, and they'll try it out. And they'll go on tour and just be working stuff out. And then they record a special. And then that material's dead now. Like, that's the new thing. It's like, once you do your special, you don't do that material again, supposedly.
Yeah.
And so it used to not be like that. People used to take the same show, like the same comedian would do the same jokes for like 10 years. But now you have to really like get, you have to after you're done with your special, you don't do it anymore. So, I mean, you start over almost. But you got like people like Jim Gaffigan. I mean, that guy is brilliant. I mean, he's always coming up with stuff. And I think also the internet helps comedians because you don't have to watch a whole hour show. You can watch just a little clip of a guy.
Yeah.
Like Nate Bargatze. You ever heard of him? He's really good.
Heard of him. I'm not real familiar with him.
He's kind of a guy that he's super smart, but he acts like he's kind of dumb. Very just self-deprecating, and he just talks about his regular life. I mean, then you got Jim Gaffigan. He's, amazing. I mean, he's more than the Hot Pockets and stuff. He talks about everything. But
one guy I actually started following him, and Steve Hofstetter.
Man, I've heard that name.
He's
It sounds like I'm talking to my pool guy. I've heard that name.
Yeah. You know Steve Hofstetter?
You know Steve Hofstetter? Yeah. He's down there on the old. Yeah, he's right there. You got Powell Lane. You got Espy right there. Then
he's a quarterback for the Giants back in '84. But
Steve Hofstetter sounds like a name that guy said to me.
So I always say that, and my mind goes sideways to Jeff Hostetler, who was a quarterback.
He was, yes, I got
for the Raiders and stuff back in the day.
I remember him.
But yeah, but he's like a Canadian guy, and but you can just throw a channel, his YouTube stuff, and there's like people that are talking out during the show and stuff like that, and he just starts to roast them live and gets the whole audience turned on these people, and it's just like he just gives it back to hecklers and stuff like that, and that, to me, that's a thing of beauty. Like kind of like when Maynard did the takedown with from the guy that came up on stage.
Yeah.
It's like, this is my stage, you're going down. But it's like him taking back, you're messing with my livelihood.
Yeah.
You're about to eat it.
You got to be real quick on your feet if you're going to do that. I mean, when I was a youth pastor, the kids, I had all these kids from Ironton, and none of their parents went to church, so I couldn't say I'm gonna take you to your parents. I couldn't.
They use you as a daycare. Is what they use you.
Yeah. But I would go pick these kids up. It'd take me 2 hours to pick them up, and they were only there for an hour. I had to take them 2 hours back. But they would roast me, and they would heckle me during my sermons, like really bad. Like it was, like they would really make it. I mean, it was rough. And they did
That's not an arc. That's my wife. Like, what were they throwing tomatoes? Like, what were they like by heckling? Like, what do you mean?
And they would just say, they would yell out. They would say stuff about what I was wearing, or just crazy stuff.
Broken a chair in the studio.
Crazy stuff.
Should I write my weight on this chair?
We got a replacement. I know you got some carpentry skills, so you'll be able to help me out with that.
You're doing the rest of the show standing up.
Anyway, but what was I talking about? Oh, so what I ended up doing is I got tired of it. I was like, it was just every week, it was just killing me. So I can't believe that's your break. Anyway, and so I made.
Sort of thing happens to me all the time.
That's terrible.
I would make videos of my sermon instead, so they would heckle the video. They'd yell out, "Look at Chris on there! Look at his stupid hair!" or what? They would. I was like, guys, I'm here. Like it was awful. Speaking of broken chairs, just one time I was where I've used to do in-home work, social work type stuff. I was sitting there with this lady, and I was sitting in, like, it was in a trailer, it was real rough, and just like I kept trying to get the kid kept getting in the oven during the visit. I was with this is me and this lady, and I was like, why is this kid getting in the oven? I was like, I'm supposed to look for safety and stuff. I'm like,
Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, it was a
something?
real problem. And I was just like, little Jimmy keeps getting so there, and we're trying to get Jimmy out of the oven and everything all the whole time. And this lady, she was sitting there, and I'm just talking to her. I'm like, so what are we gonna do about this? And all of a sudden, the chair she was sitting in exploded underneath her. I mean, exploded to just shards, just. And so I'm looking at her, and I'm just like. I felt so bad for her. So I just got up, gave her my chair, and stood the rest of the time. It was so bad. But it gave up the ghost right there. I mean, it was bad.
I used to have this teacher in school who just one of those butts, you know what I'm talking about? Like the old lady butts.
Yeah.
It's like their rest of their body is completely normal. Like from the waist up, it's like just a normal person.
Right. And
then just a huge butt. I'm not making fun of her for
that.
No,
you're just identifying a characteristic of her. Yes.
She sat down in the desk at school and she went to get up and the whole desk came with her. And she goes, "Oops, it got stuck on my pocket." And she didn't have any pockets.
Oh my gosh.
And we were all
I
mean, us, punk kids,
yeah,
laughing.
Gosh, poor lady. So she just
felt bad.
She just had a big butt, or was she like a big lady?
No, it was just the butt was just like nothing you've ever seen. The rest of the body was fine. It was just her butt was.
What about her legs?
Normal.
She
it was
just
had a giant ass.
Wow.
And I'm not talking like Kim Kardashian.
We're just talking about
just like 4 times that size.
Jesus.
So now you're young enough. Did anyone like Photoshop her onto a bicycle or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Bicycle.
Sorry, I had to ask.
Poor teacher. I bet, and I think about me being, just a youth pastor, but think about being a teacher. Golly.
Yeah.
Could not imagine.
No. Being a teacher for high schoolers or middle schoolers is going to be the worst job of all time. You can't send her to the principal's office. That's good. You have that option. What's the worst thing you guys ever did in school? You told us about your incident where you skipped school and then you put on the
orange vest.
Put on the over and that was good.
Yeah, we.
You seem like you have at least one more of those
We
stories.
didn't get into the honors program because of politics, and they said that our image wasn't good enough, even though we had the grades.
Because of that?
Yeah, and so we they were having the honors society banquet, and they had all this ice cream in the fridge for it. And me and the other people that didn't get accepted went and got the ice cream and ate it all under the bleachers.
You got them.
You went Andy Malinakis and waiting on them.
That was your terrorism. I mean, you ruined the ice cream social completely. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. That ice cream social was ruined.
It was in my stomach. You were a fat kid. You ate ice cream underneath the bleachers.
Yeah.
Sorry to make fun of your...
With all the other fat kids.
Sorry to make fun of your adolescent body.
I don't know what...
You're fine now.
Yeah. Yeah, what else? All kinds of stuff, dude. We camped out.
The ice cream. It's funnier because you were a fat kid. I don't know.
We camped out on the lawn before school, like all night. We had a camp out. We also put goldfish in the toilets one time, and then we covered the whole school in Post-it notes, like with thousands and thousands and thousands. The inside of
really,
you couldn't even see the walls. They were just Post-it notes.
How'd you get away with that? When'd you do it?
I was just senior year stuff, and the band was really sensitive about their band field, and so we sporked. We put forks in the band field everywhere, like hundreds of them.
Yeah, the green band, the green. You went to Green, right?
Yeah,
the green band is serious about their band.
Not anymore. Now they suck, but
really?
Unfortunately, but we were like really. It was like a military.
I thought you were in the band.
We had I had to run around the school for conditioning. Like we would
for the band.
It was like he ran it like a military.
Let me ask you: you were in the band, the marching, and you sport your own field.
My senior year, I quit because I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to work, which looking back was stupid. I had the rest of my life to work, but
what did you play again? The trombone,
baritone, euphonium.
Oh,
okay. What does that look like?
It's kind of in
like a smaller,
Sousa and a tuba, right? I mean, it's kind of size wise.
Yeah, it's like a trombone with valves instead of the slide, basically.
I still don't know what it looks like.
On it.
I can play both.
Well, you don't need to brag, but okay.
Well, no, I just mean like it's the same instrument except for one has a slide and one has.
So it's like a tuba with a slide?
It's like a trombone with valves.
Yeah, trombone with valves, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
So it's like a trumpet.
It's a bigger trumpet, but it's smaller than a tuba. If you're on the
Why are we using the tuba as a new? Does it look like a tuba?
A little bit.
But they're both bass clef too, so a lot of times there's crossbar. I just know this because
I know
a euphonium looks like a small tuba, like not like a euphonium or not a sousaphone, not like the marching kind.
Yeah. Right.
I'm talking about the like concert tuba. It looks like a smaller version of it. Yeah,
looks like a small tuba.
Yeah,
with a slide.
No, with valves.
Oh.
Why are you keep asking that?
No,
only a trombone has slides.
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know my brass instruments as well as you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not trying to. I didn't realize these band kids.
Yeah, we take this shit serious. You said I went to Green. Like we take this stuff seriously, dude. Yeah.
I wasn't a band guy, but I went to enough.
Yeah,
I did too. I went to a lot too.
The college stuff. Yeah.
I remember I went to so many of my nephew's shows, band shows, that I started thinking I knew like all about it. Evidently I don't, proven by the last 3 minutes of this conversation. but I was like, this next band sucks. Watch their formation. Look how out of time it is. Like I would just totally get real. I was like, this and their props. These I almost said marionettes. These major, I would just totally start judging everything. It was so stupid. You went to a lot too, though. Did you? Or do you just have it because you were around?
High school? So I was going out to.
You went to the college stuff.
Yeah, to watch.
I didn't do any of that
level of performance.
Yeah.
Which they brought in some. I can name drop this because it'd still be general, but John Mackey, who's a pretty good modern composer and stuff like that. I mean, if people listen hardcore enough and want to look that up, it's kind of neat.
I don't know who you're talking about.
It's not Mr. Mackey. It's a totally different guy.
Okay.
But his last name's Mackey, nonetheless.
Okay. Okay.
Don't play the UP, all right?
So you decided in your senior year, you're like, I want to work instead of play the Sousa trombone or whatever you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, it just it got, dude. I don't know. It just got to be too. They got to be too much. I mean, it was like every stinking weekend, like sometimes twice, 2 band competitions or 3 in one day. You know, it was just unbearable. They pushed us too hard.
Well, you'd have a football game the night before too, right?
Yeah, and football game the night before, and a parade, and then there's like.
Did you know? This sounds like I'm my pool. This is a pool guy thing. Did you guys know a guy named PJ?
Yeah, he's one of my good friends.
Yeah, he was in my youth group.
Yeah, I know.
Gosh, that's how old you are. Anyway,
See, one of them used to bust your chops. Then.
No, PJ was a cool kid, but he went out with this girl who was, I think, Native American or something.
Kelly.
Yeah, and I don't know, but they were always talking about band like serious.
No, we took it very serious.
Oh, yeah.
We went to nationals, dude. Like,
yeah,
we
Green
were
was
the only
serious.
band around here that like went to nationals, like in Indianapolis. I played in the RCA Dome before it was demolished.
Huh.
I had an uncle that was like, like Ohio, they have the high school kids get to go to first chair with the Iowa State band and stuff like that. And it was my uncle, he graduated out. I don't know what
I thought you said my knuckle at first.
My knuckle.
Okay, sorry. I was like, where's this going?
Yeah. It's on the slides.
I had one knuckle that participated in a band. I don't know.
But he got first chair twice on trumpet. He went to a cold.
I know what a trumpet is. So
that's awesome.
I know what a trumpet is.
Yeah. I really.
You ever play a slide trumpet?
I ticked off the band director because I quit and I hadn't even picked up the instrument in a year. And then I tried out for all county and I got first chair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was really ticked because he hated that I quit.
Do you think there's a thing with learning the music like that? We've talked about this before, but there's music where you learn to read music. But then if you have to just play the instrument without instructions, is it hard?
Yeah. I mean, I learned, I mean, I can read music generally, but I was never very good at it. How I learned the best was I listened to when I was young, I played next to a guy who was better than me. And I would listen off of him and look at what he was playing, and then I would play
That's
it.
genius. Yeah,
And
that's
then I would
genius.
know it. I wouldn't even have to look at the music. And then what pissed him off was I ended up beating him at all county chair. I got first, and he got
Is it
second.
political?
And I learned from him.
Is it political?
No, it was weird. I don't know.
Is that one of those things where I always heard him say, well, you have better tone?
I felt bad about it. I was like, I don't want you to have. Yeah, it was just. I guess I had my tone. I played it. Just it sounded better. It was just the tone thing. And
The way you blew was better than anybody else.
I don't know. I had the lips made.
Moving
for it.
on.
Your lips.
Yeah, my lips.
Sorry, I was just there. I had to say.
I didn't even want to play that instrument. When I was in 6th grade, the band director needed that instrument, and he was like, "No, you're going to play this." Like, looking back, I wish I would have picked something like the trombone or trumpet or saxophone, something that sounds prettier and that I can play on my own, like in a ska band or something, like instead of the freaking
And then the
euphonium.
percussion guys are totally
seemed
different
like
guys.
A lot of that stuff was just, if you're already 6 foot tall and had a stocky build, you're gonna play the tuba because you can have it.
Right. And if you're a little girl that's 4 foot, you're gonna play the flute or whatever.
Clarinet, yeah.
And then
Wow, it's strange how your body type
and all,
chooses your instrument
it is.
for you.
It
It's
is.
like baseball. If you're left-handed, you're gonna play first base.
And all the girls that could never seem to catch on to the instruments became the flag girls.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
It
was.
seems like a really early weeding out process.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, Stacy's not gonna get that flute. We're gonna
No,
have to-
but going back, I was
Stacy,
just
start doing a little bit of calisthenics. Get that
band conditioning.
vein conditioning.
We would do stretches even, and we would do yoga, and they took it very seriously there.
I can tell you, you guys are like the first one of the first bands to fit, like have.
We were the best
strength
band
and
in the
conditioning
tri-state,
performance.
man.
They
I mean,
should integrate. 'cause
Okay, I know. Listen, I know
with,
the glory days.
the glory days. Yeah.
can you imagine like just where Greenup County's right across the river, like if they were doing pyramid formations and somebody at the top, getting pitched up in the air while they're hitting a certain note. So,
Right.
yeah,
That's what you're imagining?
That's a band competition right there, boys.
Like if you add, if you combine. Listen, here's what they should do. They should combine band with cheerleading.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what you just gave me. That you had the idea. I'm just naming it. Band leading, cheer band,
Cheer band.
cheer band.
I was in jazz band, which we played at basketball games, so that was a whole nother thing. And then I was in concert band, which that was a whole nother thing.
Right.
So I did all of it. And that jazz band was the fun, because we had a drum set and a bass guitar and a guitar, and like we would play stuff like, like Carry On My Wayward Son, and like actually
Seven Nation Army.
Oh yeah, just fun stuff. It was a blast, man. That was, if I could have just been in that, I would.
What was that?
My friend Nick always said that was the best band I was ever. He's a musician in a professional band. He's like, that's the best band I was ever in. Like, was the marching band.
Yeah.
Like,
So he's in what kind of band now?
metal.
Metal band. Oh, is that Nick?
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah.
But the days just got. It was like all summer long. I mean, every band camp is every single day. Was 5 days a week, all day. I mean, 8 o'clock in the morning to dark. And then after that band camp, we had practices like 3 days a week, and it was just.
I played soccer. It was like that in the summer. We practiced 2 times a day. Like we practiced at we practiced at 7 or 8 in the morning until 11, and then we had to come back at 5. And that's just so we wouldn't die of heat and exhaustion.
Yeah,
you know?
So you didn't need an orange juice IV bag.
Yeah, I mean, but it wasn't ever. Was that all year?
Basically,
Yeah.
I mean, it was like
soccer
busy.
wasn't like
it was
that.
just too much. I wanted to do other things.
Yeah.
I was burnt out on it. Like
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a good experience. I didn't do that. I mean,
It
I was in
was.
choir, but I mean, that's
I was in
different.
choir too. And that was another thing. And then here's a funny
Were
story.
you in
for
show choir?
I was in show choir and choir.
I wouldn't do show choir because they wore too many sequins. I just couldn't do it.
I was here's a funny one for you. The band director had already hated me, and I tried out for choir too. You had to sight read in choir.
Oh, really?
And to try out in county choir, which is
So you give a piece of music and
you
you
had a
had
piece
to
of music and you got to sing it.
and you just probably wouldn't know the song.
No, you've got to
Random piece of music.
You've got to know the song from looking at the music, which was hard. Somehow I did it back then. I don't think I could do it now.
So you basically had to know what the note with your voice was.
Right.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And
That seems a lot to ask of a child.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it does.
And the guy, he came down from Ohio State, their choir, and he came down to direct us. And it was weird. Like, he had this weird fascination with me or something. Like, he wrote the director a note and was like, wanted to recommend me to their Ohio State to sing in their choir and to I guess come down to their summer camp thing that they had going on. Well, it was just a couple years ago I saw where that guy got busted because he was like, I guess like raping like young boys and stuff.
He liked you.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is crazy.
like a musical Sandusky.
Something like that. Yeah.
That happened out in Rock Hill, in Ohio. That happened. Their band director got, I don't know. He got charges for all kinds of extra band activities. I mean,
yeah.
But it wasn't with boys; it was with girls, I think.
A lot of these teachers, I mean, come right out of college and they're still not super mature yet, I guess, or something. I mean, they're like 23 years old hanging out with 17, 18-year-old girls.
Yeah, I mean, there's the women have done it too, though.
Oh yeah, the women, it's even worse, I think, more than men.
I
Every
don't
time I
know.
see the article, it's always more so women sleeping with younger guys, the women teachers.
We had that at Russell for sure.
I don't know where they were when I was in school, but that would have been great.
Seems like they're all in Florida too. It's like,
No, it's around here. It's happened a lot around here. I mean, I can imagine that would be, I don't know.
And like the peak sexuality of a woman is at 30.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a guy, it's like at
19 or
18, something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's part of it.
yeah, I mean, it's a strange situation. The whole hot for teacher thing. But the women, they go to jail and everything too. But for some reason, people don't think as bad about the women as they do the guy.
yeah,
I mean, because the man is
different standard.
stronger. I don't know. I mean, anyway,
That was, we were talking about movies they couldn't
They went
make.
to a dark place at the end.
Yeah.
Our band section would really.
Talking about raping
All
boys.
band directors
and,
are molesters.
Yeah.
it's not a good generalization.
The one at Green, after I had left and graduated, he got fired because he sent a student a picture of a sex swing in his basement or some shit like that. I don't know what the deal was there, but he got fired.
Yeah, here's my playground. Yeah.
That's
Time to sight read. I don't know. There's jokes there. All kinds of horn jokes there, but
yeah.
that must have been horny. Sorry. Too easy.
Must have been horny.
It must have been.
Makes you think like that movie Varsity Blues. I don't, just with the cancel culture and stuff like that, I don't think they could make that again. I mean, if you think of some of the stuff, like when he pulls up to the curb and starts yelling at him about,
I don't think I've seen that movie.
said, you have the right to get naked and get in this car with a sophomore that wants to bang you with her tongue or something like that. That I'm just quoting the movie. But I don't think you could get away with making that movie now.
I don't remember that part, Gary.
Gary, what version?
Oh man,
Was that the director's cut?
You watched? No,
maybe I blacked out.
It's
or
called
something.
Varsity Hose. It's the wrong
one.
That was the
part
one.
one.
That was
The
I
wrong
found
movie,
it
Gary.
behind the Get Into the Greek poster at the old Blockbuster. It was covered in dust.
Oh god. No,
Vanity Blues.
I preferred Varsity Hose 4. I thought it was the best production. But
Big horns.
there's all kinds of jokes there.
Oh man.
Oh
We should have been making horn jokes this whole time. What were you thinking?
Yeah. Wow. Well, I kind of hope this podcast doesn't turn into that. Like, hey, did you catch that one this week? It's just reviewing a panel. It's like, join us next week when we'll be talking about so and so.
I had a bunch of subjects that I wrote down for this, but we didn't.
It was too good. You don't need them today.
No, I didn't need them today. I mean, we've.
2 hours.
Yeah, we got 2 hours, and I appreciate everybody coming tonight, and you have a choice, love or no love. Thank you for listening to the Invisible Wires podcast. You can email us at invisiblewirespodcast@gmail.com. You can interface with us on Instagram at invisible_wires. We appreciate you listening, and we hope you have a great week.